The last developing in real time. It was David, my David, in what looked like a sleek downtown apartment I'd never seen. He was shirtless, his arm wrapped around a woman with dark hair and crimson lips. She was stunning, younger than me, maybe 30, with the kind of effortless beauty that made my 42-year-old body feel ancient. They were both laughing, champagne glasses raised, the Houston skyline glittering behind them through floor-to-ceiling windows. He looked happy. Genuinely, radiantly happy in a way I hadn't seen in years. That's when I noticed the watch on his wrist. The Patek Philippe I'd given him for our 10th anniversary. The one he told me he'd lost at a conference in Denver. He was wearing it in this photo, dated 2 months after he claimed it had gone missing. He hadn't lost it. He'd kept it separate, sacred, for his time with her. I don't remember closing the laptop. I don't remember walking to the bathroom. But suddenly, I was on my knees on the cold tile floor, retching into the toilet, my body rejecting the truth my mind couldn't process. 14 years. 2 beautiful daughters. A life I had built brick by brick, sacrifice by sacrifice. And it was all a lie. When the nausea finally subsided, I sat with my back against the bathtub, staring at the ceiling. The house was silent except for the distant hum of the refrigerator and the soft ticking of the grandfather clock in the hallway, a wedding gift from David's parents. Every familiar sound now felt like a mockery. I thought about waking the girls. I thought about calling my sister in Austin. I thought about packing a bag and driving until I ran out of road. But beneath the grief, something else was stirring. Something cold and calculating. A voice that whispered, "Not yet. Don't show your hand. Not yet." Because in that moment, sitting on that bathroom floor at 3 a.m., I made a decision that would define the next 6 months of my life. I wasn't going to confront David. I wasn't going to cry and scream and give him the satisfaction of seeing me broken. I was going to learn everything. Every lie, every secret, every vulnerability he'd exposed. And then I was going to destroy him. The next morning, I woke to the smell of coffee and the sound of David humming in the kitchen. For a moment, in that hazy space between sleep and consciousness, I forgot. Then it crashed back over me like a wave, and I had to bite the inside of my cheek to keep from screaming. I looked at myself in the bathroom mirror. My eyes were swollen from crying, but nothing some concealer couldn't fix. I'd spent years perfecting the art of appearing put together when I was falling apart inside the skill every corporate wife masters. Today would be the performance of my life. Morning, beautiful. David kissed my cheek as I entered the kitchen. His lips felt like poison on my skin. You sleep okay? I came in late, and you were out cold. Disguised as business expenses and investment losses. He was our entire relationship, searching for the signs I'd missed. There had been signs. Who had believed in the fundamental goodness of the people she loved that Maya was dead. was a narcissist. Maybe not in the clinical sense, but certainly in effect. Every interaction was designed to center himself, to maintain control, to keep me off balance. And I'd played right into his hands for 14 years. No more. Patricia's forensic accountant, a wiry man named Gerald with wire-rimmed glasses and an unsettling ability to trace money through shell corporations, had been working for 3 months when he delivered his final report. "It's worse than we thought," he said, sliding a thick folder across Patricia's conference table. "Your husband has been systematically transferring marital assets into offshore accounts for the past 2 years. He's also taken out a second mortgage on your home without your knowledge, forged your signature on the documents." "That's forgery," I said, my voice flat. "That's a crime." "It is. And there's more." Gerald opened the folder to a page covered in highlighted transactions. "These payments here, roughly $150,000 over 18 months, went to a company called Castillo Consulting LLC. Registered in Delaware, sole proprietor listed as Lena Castillo. He's been paying her as a vendor, essentially laundering marital funds through fake invoices." I looked at Patricia. "We have him." "We have more than that," she said. "We have her, too. If Lena knowingly accepted these payments as part of a scheme to defraud you, she's exposed to both civil and criminal liability." The plan we developed over the next few weeks was elegant in its simplicity. We weren't going to confront David directly. We were going to let him destroy himself. Step 1 was the most difficult, continuing to play the oblivious wife while Patricia filed a series of emergency motions to freeze our assets. Texas law allowed for this when there was evidence of fraudulent dissipation, and Gerald's documentation was ironclad. The motions were filed under seal to prevent David from being alerted before we were ready. Step 2 involved Meridian Tech. Patricia had connections in corporate law, and she discovered that David's arrangement with Lena violated at least 3 company policies, including strict prohibitions on romantic relationships between executives and their subordinates, and even stricter rules about directing company funds to personal associates. An anonymous complaint, backed by documentation, would trigger an internal investigation. Step 3 was personal, and this was the part one handled myself. The Meridian Tech annual gala was held every December at the Wortham Theater Center, a glittering affair where the company's executives showed off their success and their trophy spouses. I'd attended every year since David's promotion, always playing my role perfectly, charming, supportive, invisible. This year would be different. I spent weeks preparing. Not just my appearance, though. I made sure to look better than I ever had. A revenge dress in emerald green that made me feel like a weapon, but my words. I rehearsed conversations, anticipated reactions, and mapped out every possible scenario. shifted behind his eyes. You were talking to Lena? Is that a problem? No. No, of course not. But he excused himself to find her, and I watched them have a whispered, frantic conversation in the corner. Good. Let them panic. Let them make mistakes. The internal investigation at Meridian Tech was launched 2 weeks later. David didn't know about my involvement. He assumed the anonymous complaint had come from a jealous colleague, but the scrutiny rattled him. He started coming home on time, started paying attention to the girls, and started acting like the husband he should have been all along. It was too little, too late. And it was all an act anyway. In March, Patricia filed for divorce. The motion included detailed documentation of the hidden accounts, the forged mortgage documents, the fraudulent vendor payments, and the offshore transfers. We requested sole custody of the girls based on David's pattern of deception and financial abuse, plus restoration of all dissipated marital assets. The look on David's face when he was served was something I'll carry with me forever. We were eating dinner, all 4 of us around the table like a normal family, when the doorbell rang. He opened it to find a process server holding a thick envelope. David Jenkins? Yes, you've been served. He read the first page, and I watched understanding dawn across his features. Then he looked at me, really looked at me, for maybe the first time in years. Maya, what is this? It's exactly what it looks like, David. I know everything. I kept eating my salmon, my voice calm. I've known for months. I just needed time to prepare. The girls were staring, confused and frightened. I'd known this moment would be hard, but I decided they needed to witness their mother standing up for herself. They needed to see what strength looked like. Girls, go upstairs, David said, his voice strangled. No. I put down my fork. They should stay. They're old enough to understand that sometimes people we love make choices that hurt us. And when that happens, we don't have to accept it. Maya, please. We can talk about this. We can work through this. Think about the family. I am thinking about the family. I've been thinking about the family for 14 years while you were planning your exit strategy. I stood, my napkin folded neatly beside my plate. The forensic accountant traced everything, David. The offshore accounts, the forged mortgage, the payments to your girlfriend's company. You're not just facing divorce. You're facing criminal fraud charges. The sound that came from him was almost inhuman, a moan of disbelief and fear. The master manipulator, finally outmaneuvered. The months that followed were brutal but necessary. David tried everything, pleading, threatening, attempting to turn the girls against me, claiming I was mentally unstable and had fabricated evidence. But Patricia was relentless, and the documentation was overwhelming. Meridian Tech terminated David's employment following the The girl's mother, the perfect hostess, the supportive partner. Who was Maya Jenkins when she wasn't performing for someone else? I was starting to find out. I'd enrolled in online classes to finish the accounting degree I'd abandoned when I got pregnant with the twins. tell you that you're an inspiration. So many women don't know they have options, who think they're father's intelligence, which she's channeling into the debate team and student government. Sophie is quieter, more artistic, processing the world through drawings and poetry that sometimes make me cry. They visit David but as a reminder. A reminder of what I survived. A reminder of what I'm capable of. A reminder that the most dangerous creature in any jungle is the one who knows exactly what she's dealing with.